It's so good. Hey y'all, it's your girl Taiwana with T&V Nation. I'm here by myself. I'm gonna be cooking up some brown stew chicken. This is my favorite Jamaican or Caribbean dish, and it reminds me of a dish that we eat in Louisiana. We love our rice and gravy, y'all. And one of my favorite forms of rice and gravy is the chicken rice and gravy that we eat in Louisiana. Of course, it has a Cajun flavor. So the brown stew chicken reminded me of that. And ever since I tried it, I've been loving it. So I'm going to cook it. I've been saying for a while I'm going to cook it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've never cooked it before, so I'll be following the recipe. And hopefully it comes out good. So I do already have my chicken here, y'all. I am using some chicken legs and also some boneless, skinless thighs. I've usually had this recipe with the leg quarter, I think. Sometimes it would be cut up. Sometimes it would be just the full quarter. I've never had it with the boneless chicken thighs, but I saw a lot of recipes, and you know, that's a good little piece of meat. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the marinade. So I have to marinate this with the ingredients here, and it has to be marinated for an hour. So I have all of my stuff here. I already chopped up my veggies just to make this quick and clean. You know, nobody needs to see nobody chop up veggies and all that mess. So this is a cup of onion. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. This is a half cup of the scallions here. 6 garlic cloves here, so I'm just gonna put that in there. And then I have a tablespoon of some fresh minced ginger. It could be dark or light brown sugar. I'm using a dark brown sugar because that's what we had. That's the only reason. So I have a tablespoon of that going in. I don't know how much of these Jamaican, what is this called? This Jamaican allspice I need. Half a teaspoon of this ground Jamaican allspice, but mine is not ground. And this is the marinade, so I figured it may not make too much of a difference, but because mine isn't ground, I'm gonna put, instead of half a teaspoon, I'm gonna go ahead and put half of a tablespoon. For the most part, I am following their instructions like precisely in terms of measurements because I've never cooked this before. The only thing I'm probably gonna do a little different is whenever I get ready to cook like the sauce, I'll probably add my Badia complete seasoning, because every Caribbean every Caribbean cooking video that I see, they use that, and they use a ton of seasoning. So we all know that they don't just use salt and pepper and whatever. But anyway, I know that I need 2 bay leaves, so we got 1 bay leaf. I don't know if I told y'all, but it's 3 pounds of chicken that the recipe calls for. I used about that much. This recipe also calls for some dried thyme. This recipe calls for half a teaspoon of dried thyme. I'm gonna go ahead and just put a few sprigs in there. I love the smell and the flavor of this. It's so good, y'all. Y'all know that Caribbeans love this in the food, and I do too. I'm gonna add about that much in there. Of the flavors I know that I like, I might be adding a little bit more, you know, like I did with this. And like I'm gonna do with that, with some of the other seasoning, definitely that all-purpose seasoning. Smoked paprika, I don't know how much of this I need. I'm just gonna pour that in there. Oh. 2 teaspoons of browning sauce. I am gonna measure it because I don't cook with this and I don't know how much I need. 2 teaspoons. Oh, it's thick, y'all. I didn't know this was a thick sauce. I thought this was like thin, like kind of watery, but it's thick. It looks black. They talking about brown sauce. I want every drop. I'm gonna add a little bit more just because I can't get the rest of that out of there. And this is gonna be good for my coloring. And then it says put about half a teaspoon of ground black pepper, 1.5 teaspoon of some coarse salt. I don't have coarse salt. I only have fine grain salt. And I don't really see what difference it makes anyway. Oh. About half a teaspoon. And so now I am going to massage all of this into the chicken. You know what? I really feel like I want to put the all-purpose seasoning, but I'm gonna wait till when I make the broth. So I am going to just take my hands, mix all this up. It smells so good. The recipe also says you can marinate this overnight. I would have done that had I looked at the recipe earlier, but I didn't know that this required marinating. So I looked at the recipe today, just maybe a few hours ago, and I was like, well, shoot, I guess I'll just marinate it the 1 hour, which, you know, that should be good enough anyway. Ooh, some of these pieces of chicken got that browning sauce on them, and it's just looking so good. The skinless chicken is really picking up that sauce color. So I'm gonna cover this with some plastic wrap and marinate it in the fridge for an hour, and then I'll be back.
1 hour later.
All right, y'all, the chicken has marinated for an hour. So now I'm gonna take the chicken out and brown it. I had to separate the chicken from the marinade, which I didn't record that, but anyway, because we're gonna use the marinade for the sauce. Okay, this seems hot. We'll see. I got a nice brown color there. That's what you want, a nice brown. Flip them over to that other side. Throwing these thighs in here to brown. Let that brown for a couple minutes. So the thighs are browning. Flipping them over on the other side. The chicken has made quite a bit of fat. We're supposed to leave about 2 tablespoons of that. So once I take the thighs out, I'll see how much I have left and how much of that fat I need to remove.
Grease.
It's chicken fat. So I'm scraping these bits up off the bottom of this pot. Y'all know we want all the flavor. And actually we're down to maybe about 2 tablespoons of that chicken fat anyway. So I'm not gonna really need to drain any because I turned my fire up a little higher. And in doing so, I was able to reduce that fat. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add this marinade. This is the marinade that was left from the chicken. Yes, it's smelling so good in here, y'all. It really is smelling like brown stew chicken. All right, I'm gonna turn that heat up a little bit since I done poured that marinade back in there. And remember, the marinade is gonna be a little cool, so you might have to turn your heat up some because this was in the refrigerator. Once this gets nice and warmed up, then I'm gonna add my chicken broth and my other seasonings. And y'all, the recipe does not say add all these other seasonings to your sauce, to your broth. But listen, I like seasoning, and I told y'all, every time I watch a Caribbean cooking video, they had a ton of seasoning. And y'all know, if you eat some Caribbean food, you're gonna have a lot of flavor. So we're gonna make sure we have a lot of flavor. Yes. This is smelling so delicious, y'all. I'm telling you, just yum me. So I'm gonna put my chicken broth. You're supposed to simmer it for 45 minutes. I want to make sure I have some chicken broth left in case it reduces down too much and I need to add more liquid. I'm gonna turn this heat up a little bit because I'm gonna need this to come to a boil. Now I'm gonna put my broth in there. Let that come up to a boil. I'm gonna turn this up to high. Ooh, why I keep splashing myself? Girl, what are you doing? So I'm gonna let this come to a boil. In fact, while this is coming to a boil, I'm gonna add some garlic powder. I have garlic in there, but always add extra garlic powder. This is the thing, the marinade is very well seasoned, but anytime I add chicken broth to anything, baby, it's got to be seasoned. Period! It's gonna be seasoned with the marinade, and it's also gonna be onion powder. It's also gonna be seasoned with some additional seasonings, because we need it in our life. And then we're gonna do this body of complete seasoning. And once this has simmered for a minute, I will then, you know, do me a little taste test, child. Let's turn this down to medium. Now I'm going to add, oh, I forgot the ketchup. I need a 4th teaspoon of ketchup. 1/4 of a cup. So this recipe calls for, it's not open? Oh, a 1/4 teaspoon of ketchup.
1/4 of a cup.
Why I keep, yeah, I've been saying that all day, every time I talk about this. A 1/4 of a cup ketchup, which sounds like a lot to me. I'm not a ketchup eater, but hey, I looked up several recipes and they do have this, so we gonna put what they asked for. I see you, I smell you, I smell you. Smelling good. Real good. I am going to throw in that Scotch bonnet pepper, y'all. This thing hot. Throw that boy in. Woo! So once I put all the ingredients, I add my chicken back, but I'm not there yet. Slow down, T. Now I'm gonna add my orange peppers. The recipe calls for a whole pepper, either red, orange, or yellow. I chose to go orange. Orange peppers is one of my favorite. I like them all. Red is more on the sweet side to me. Orange is kind of like just right. Get that bad boy a stir. Ooh, she's looking and smelling good. Mm-hmm. Yes. Smells delicious. All right, I'm gonna let that come to a boil and I'm gonna start adding my chicken. All right, I'm gonna turn that down because this is gonna be a nice simmer. For 45 minutes, Siri gonna have to give me a timer. So get all your chicken in. Once you get all your chicken in, you wanna get it nicely coated. I'm gonna start with my legs since they seem to gonna take up more of the space. So getting all this chicken in, and I am gonna have to make sure all of my chicken gets coated. Every piece of chicken is gonna be coated with the sauce.
I wish y'all could smell this.
It smells so good, y'all.
It smells just like brown stew chicken.
It does. And I hope it tastes like it.
I guess it smells like it because that's what it is.
All right, y'all. So we now are going to bring this to a simmer, and this is going to simmer for 45 minutes. And during the 45-minute process of the simmering, you're supposed to check it like every so often and turn your chicken. So I'll probably turn my chicken at like 15-minute intervals. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Eventually. Eternity later.
It is done, y'all. I did have to reduce it down further after it simmered for about 45 minutes. For one, I had the fire down too low, but also I would have had to anyway because it just took longer for it to reduce down enough and for the sauce to just thicken up a bit. The chicken is extremely tender. You can see it starting to fall off the bone, which is good, but had I cooked it a little bit longer, it would have been falling off too much. So yeah, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and try it. Ooh, it's got some of that orange pepper. It is super, super hot, y'all. Super freaking hot. So I'm scared I'm gonna burn myself. I'm gonna do the sauce first. It's so delicious, y'all. It literally tastes just like brown stew chicken. It's so good. That's good, y'all. That is good. I cannot believe I made some brown stew chicken.
Yes, babe.
It was good. I can't wait to make my plate, and we about to eat.